Welcome to weekly Zohar class. The portion of this week is Ekev. Ekev in the meaning of heel, the bottom of our feet. This portion is talking about listening to the ordinance, to the laws, to the judgment of the Creator. By the way, we are on Facebook Live. We're going to have it live for 10 minutes. Whoever likes to see the whole class can go to eretzculturecenter.org or you can log into my page and you can watch the full class. So this portion, we are 7 weeks, this is the 6 weeks, there is 7 weeks between Ninth and Av to Rosh Hashanah. We are in the second week, so there's 6 more weeks left until Rosh Hashanah. Moshe, like a good teacher, like a good father, he's giving his last push, last teaching to prepare us for Rosh Hashanah, for the high holidays, for Kippur. He's reviewing all the laws, he's reviewing all the precepts that we learned through the classes, through the past year, through the Torah. As we know, Rosh Hashanah is a judgment time, all the books open, we are in front of the judge, and they're determining on Rosh Hashanah how much light, how much blessing, how much healing, how much wealth, how much success are going to receive in the next year. We don't believe in punishment. There is no such a thing as punishment. It's just how much light we're going to receive for the next year. So the more pure we are, the more cleansing we do in our consciousness, the more I change my nature from the last year, from the past year, the bigger heart I have, the bigger vessel I have, the more light I'm going to receive for the next year. So the system, the universe, our teacher Moshe is reminding us, is reviewing whatever we learned in the past year, whatever we learned through the Torah. You know, like when you go to a court and the best argument of a lawyer is the last argument. Maybe the court takes few days, few weeks, but they leave the best argument for the last minute. This is the last minute before we stand in front of the judge. So we have to make the extra push. We have to make the extra cleansing and purifying our consciousness and our heart and soul. So the more pure we are, the more nicer we are, then we're going to receive more light for the next year. Honestly, if we don't change ourselves, next year is going to be the same exactly like this year. We want so much goodness for next coming year. So we have to change. We have these 6 weeks to change the negative consciousness to positive consciousness, to destroy the ego as much as possible, and add goodness and sharing and caring and more love to ourselves to receive more light for the next year. So Rosh Hashanah is the seed level of what's going to happen to us next year. So all this portion is preparing us for the high holidays. This portion is talking about hearing, listening. The name of the portion is Ekev Tishmeun. The face value says if we're going to listen. But, you know, the Torah, such an amazing language, is using the word Ekev Tishmeun. It says you have to listen with your heel. Let's read the first sentence in English so it's going to be more clear. So the Torah starts with this section. It says, and it shall come to pass because you hearken to these ordinances and keep and do them, that the Lord your God shall keep with you the covenant and the mercy which he swore to your fathers. It sounds a little bit religious. It says if you listen to the laws, if you listen to the rules, if you listen to if you follow the rules of the universe, your life is going to be full of blessing. As we follow our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov. So, what kind of listening, what kind of hearing the Torah is talking about? We come to the class for 1 hour and we hear this amazing wisdom from the Torah. We come on Shabbat, we listen to the Torah, to the wisdom. Maybe we listen to the classes, maybe we study a little bit. So what about that 99% of the time that we hear things? Is it like nonsense, or is it also can benefit our life? Is it just news, or just maybe talk among friends, or does it really have an effect in our life? According to Zohar and Kabbalah, not only what you hear in the class and Shabbat and the Kenisa can change your life to better. Everything we hear 24/7 can affect our life for better. This week is about hearing, next week is about seeing. So the system is designed that whatever we takes in is going to benefit us. Whatever we hear, whatever we see, whatever we smell, whatever we eat, whatever we touch, everything in our life is made for us to become a better person. Not only the spiritual classes, not only the Shabbatot, everything. Amir Jun is not here this class, but like he says, everything is a message. Everything is a message. But for some reason we are blocked. We don't allow these messages from friends, family, from movies, from the news, from even a license plate of the car next to us. We don't allow it to come in. For some reason we are blocked. So tonight we're going to learn how we can cleanse this pipe of hearing, how we can hear and listen to everything, not only to our teachers, to everybody. And the answer is yes, everything we hear, everything we see is a message from the Creator, from the universe, to help you to overcome the challenges, overcome the obstacles, overcome the lack that we experience. Everything. So there are few steps that we can learn. We're going to learn tonight. How can I hear better? How can I listen better? So number one rule is the whole. By the way, it's a very small Zohar section this week, but it's a lot of information, a lot of good information. I highly recommend study the whole section of Ekev in the Zohar. So the first rule: how can I hear better? How can I listen to messages? How can I observe everything that comes to me? Every information comes to me. Did we reach the 10 minutes or not yet? I think we're gonna shut it down and we can follow the class later. So the first rule is, it says blessing. You have to say blessing to everything, every action we do during the day and night. We have to appreciate everything. We have to appreciate every friend, every situation, everything we own. We have to appreciate our house, our job, our clothing, our money, our friends, whatever we have. Everything we own, we have to appreciate. We have to love it, and we have to see the blessing in it. Remember, the name of this portion is Ekev, heal. We have to adopt this humility. We have to adopt this personality that appreciate everything in life. humble in every situation, humble in everywhere. Let's read from the Zohar, and we're going to continue and I'm going to explain more. So we are in book number 22, page 126, section 1. Don't cross your hands, don't cross your legs, sit comfortable, don't write anything, listen to these Aramaic words. By listening to this holy Zohar, it's going to help us to cleanse, to open the pipe of hearing. והיה עקב תשמון את המשפטים האלה וגומר, ואכלת ושבעת וברכת את אדוני אליך וגומר. פקודה דה לברכה, ליה לקודשה בריחו. על כל מה דאיכול ושתי את הנה בהי עלמה, ואי לא ברך אקראי גזלן לגבי קודשה בריחו. דכתיב גוזל אבי ואמו, והא וכמוהו חבריה בגין דברכון דבריה בנו לקודשה בריחו. עתה להמשכה חיים ממקורה דחיי, לשמיה דקודשה בריחו קדישה, ולארכה עליה מהו שמשכה עלה, והטיל את משכה מתאמן לכל עלמה. Wherefore it shall come to pass, if you hearken to this judgment, when you have eaten and you repeat, then you shall bless Hashem your Elohim. We are commanded to bless the Holy One, blessed be He, for everything we eat and drink and enjoy in this world. He who does not bless is considered as stealing from the Holy One. He who does not bless is considered as stealing from the Holy One. Blessed be He. As is written, he who robs his father or his mother. And the friends explains that it applies to the Holy One, blessed be He. The blessing that a person gives the Holy One, blessed be He, are meant to draw life from the source of life. We're going to stop here. Okay. So the Zohar explains.
Another is texting me that don't stop the class, put it on Facebook. It says this, I'm watching the class, it's wonderful. Please put the whole class on Facebook. Don't stop it.
Okay.
Tell the class that there is demand from Facebook friends to have it live for the whole
Okay, we are back in Facebook Live. Our master, he commanded us to go back live, and we're going to follow the master. So, like we just read from the Zohar, he says, who eats and doesn't say the blessing is like stealing from the Creator. And, by not saying the blessing, we are disconnecting ourselves from the source of life. Pay attention to these words of the Zohar. So I know it's talking about only eating, but we don't want to connect only to the religious part of it. As a student of Kabbalah, everything is important, not only eating. So again, the Zohar is commanding us to bless everything we do. How does that work? What is the secret behind saying blessing for enjoying a fruit, or having a good day, or loving my house, or enjoying my business, or enjoying my friend? Why do I have to say blessing for having a friend? So the way it works, there is a vessel and there is a light. If I have if I earn $100, I got it's vessel. But when I said the blessing on the $100 and I appreciate the fact that I earned that $100, I bring light to that $100. So I bought a house. It's a very nice house. It's beautiful. But just enjoying the house and without saying the blessing for it is having a vessel with no light. One of the Kabbalists give a good example. He says, when we eat an orange, we enjoy the orange, we are not aware of all its vitamins and minerals and chemicals and the vitamin C that's going to bring healing and blessing to us. We are not aware of it. The same thing, having a friend, wearing a new clothing, having this class, having this kenisa. If we are just using the physical aspect of it, We are using its vessel. We are not activating the light within it. I come to the class, I listen to this wisdom, it's wonderful, but when I appreciate this class, when to myself, I said, I'm so blessed, I'm so lucky, I thank my Creator to make me come to this class, then you receive the blessing of the class also, not only the wisdom. So I know traditionally, religiously, each time we want to eat something, we have to say the blessing, and not necessarily they explain to us why, but it's about all the aspects of life, anything you can think of. In the morning you wake up, what do we say? Modeh ani. So we wake up, I can have a day, just the vessel part of the day, but I want to have a day with the blessing also. When I appreciate my day, appreciate my car, appreciate my job, appreciate my phone calls, my texts, and all my friends, anything I have. When I'm appreciating what the Zohar says, I'm connecting to the source of life. So, what did it have to do with hearing? What did it have to do with listening? We were talking about hearing and listening. Our biggest enemy, our biggest opponent is the ego. The ego doesn't let us listen, doesn't let us hear things. I have this huge title, I'm good looking, I have the money, I'm smart. I don't have to listen to anybody, I don't need to hear anything. But the Zohar says, in order for us to hear the messages, to listen, to cleanse this pipe of hearing, we have to eliminate, destroy this ego that doesn't let us listen, doesn't let us hear things. So by me saying blessing over food, over everything I have, over every experience, over every friend, over every situation that comes to me, when I say the blessing to it, I'm training myself to be humble. I'm training myself to have humility in my life. I'm training myself to destroy this ego within me by saying the blessing. If you are very wealthy, come on, you don't bless every single thing in your life because you have it already. That's not what this wisdom says. We never know. Whatever we have can, like Rav Berg says, anything we have, anything we own can disappear in a matter of seconds. Anything. So if we constantly bless our life, bless our days, bless our friends, bless our food, bless everything we have, we are connecting to source of life. We're destroying, we're depressing the ego, and we are raising our hearing, raising our listen. So, like at the beginning of the class we said, life is full of messages, not only the classes, not only the Torah. Everything is a message, all your friends, anything we hear. But the ego doesn't let us. The ego doesn't let us hear and listen. So one of the tricks the Kabbalists they find is to appreciate, to say blessing for everything you own. And that gradually gonna destroy the ego and gonna make us be able to hear better. What is the second point? Are we good with the first point? Everybody got it? Wonderful. The second point of how can we hear better? How can we receive these messages? The second way is through friendship, through real good friends, teamwork, and unity. Friendship, good friendship, teamwork, and unity. It had a very powerful message for me this week. He says a friend can save your life. Can you imagine? I'm sure most of us, we experience these things. He says a friend can save your life. Can you imagine? We have some, Baruch Hashem, we don't have major issues. We have some lacks, in Hebrew chisaron, we have some challenges. This wisdom says a friend can save your life. So what is a small challenge? What is a small obstacle that can be eliminated, very easily by a good friend? So that's what we do. As a team, we study this wisdom. As a team, we come on Shabbatot. We talk during the week. We try to make our friendship better. How can we have a true friend? How can we have a good team? How can we have a good unity so I can receive this life-saving message from my friend? So this wisdom says that we had this class about this when we spoke about it many times before. Every one of us is blessed with a unique gift. Every one of us. Every single of us has a unique gift to himself. And our job is, you remember we talked about happiness. How can I be happy when I develop my gift to the maximum potential? Bring my gift to the maximum of my ability. So we have to realize every single of us has a unique gift. And if I recognize and respect, admire and appreciate my friend's gift, then I'm going to be able to listen to him. Then I'm going to be able to hear him. If we listen only to our teacher, if we only listen to the huge master, that's not what this study says. We have to listen to everybody. We have to hear everybody. So, if every single of us have a unique gift, so that unique gift of my friend is very unique to him, can save my life, can save me from my obstacle, from the issue I'm going through. So can you imagine if I'm so into myself, I have this huge ego, I'm smart, I'm rich, I'm powerful, I don't need to listen to my friends, I just go have a good time with my friends. Then I'm missing out on that valuable message that can come to me through my friend. So I have to learn to respect, admire, cherish, appreciate, truly love my friends, the good friends. And this study says, don't think you have to have thousands of friends. Few friends is wonderful. It's very hard to have good friends, but even few friends is wonderful. But we have to respect them. We have to admire their gift. We have to give them a chance to help us out, to show us, to guide us. Unfortunately, this huge ego that we all have, we don't want to listen to people. We don't want to hear people. There is one wonderful place in the Zohar that a child walks into a class of Shimon Bar Yochai. Can you imagine the author of the Zohar sitting in a class teaching his students, to all huge souls? A 10-year-old child comes in and he starts teaching the students some wisdom. All the students, they listen to him, they appreciate him, they admire him, they listen, they follow the 10-year-old teaching.
Also in this week's Zohar.
It's this
a
week's Zohar.
5-year-old boy.
5-year-old.
With 3 wives.
So it's not I only respect an elderly. It's not I only respect a big Kabbalist. It's not only I listen to a huge master and teacher. A message can come to you from a child. Are you going to allow yourself? Are you going to put down your title and your wisdom and your power and to listen to a child? I remember another Jew in one of his classes, he says if a child comes to you and he want to talk to you, you stop everything and you listen to that child because there is a message in it. So the second way of listening is you listen to, first of all, you work on having true friendship. You work on building a team like the way we are. You work on real unity among you and friends. And you respect, you admire, you love, you go way out of your way, you do anything for your friends, so eventually that life-giving message gonna come through your good friend. The third, what is the third point that I can hear better, I can listen better, I can cleanse this pipe, that all this wisdom, all this knowledge, all this life-saving information is going to come in. The third point is to be okay with your flaws, to be okay with your mistakes, to be okay with the lacks that we have, to be okay with the difficulties we have in our life. We're gonna learn a beautiful lesson right now. When we are so much into our lacks, into our mistakes, into our difficulties, into our what we are missing, then that's become the main part, the main focus of my life. We have so much more to offer. We have so much to receive. But when I'm constantly protecting myself for my lacks, if constantly I made a mistake and I so much involved into that mistakes, I don't want to hear, I'm not open to receive any wisdom. When there is a health issue, when there is a health challenge, I'm so much into that issue. I focus so much in that issue. I become so protective. I try to cover myself and show no lacks. Then I won't be hearing things. Then people won't come to me with the good messages. So when there is an issue, when there is a lack, when there is a difficulty, instead of hiding it, I want to be open to receive messages. I don't want to make my life, this perfect picture, perfect image. We live in Hollywood and everything's supposed to be perfect. There is no hearing, there is no listening into being perfect. The reason that we all here in this class, because we had an issue, we had a difficulty, we had a challenge. We were open about it, we came out of ourselves, we came out of that darkness, and we allow ourselves to hear, to listen. We allow to come in. If we are constantly want to cover up our flaws, if we constantly want to cover what's wrong about me, then I'm not open. I won't receive any messages. So, when I believe that I'm not perfect, nobody's perfect. If I believe that only perfect going to bring me happiness, we're never going to achieve that happiness. So I want to believe that I'm looking for the light, I'm looking for the happiness, even if there is no perfect life, perfect scenario for me. If I'm after being only perfect, there's no happiness in it. There's going to be sadness in it. So we have to be okay with our flaws, not to be overprotective over our flaws. It's okay to have flaws. Nobody's perfect. And by showing it, by living with it happily, then I'm going to be able to receive messages. I'm going to be here, life-giving information to overcome that flaw, to overcome that obstacle. So by hiding it, you won't do it. One beautiful lesson about this week and happiness I learned recently was how can we be happy? How can a happier person, by the way, listens, hears? A sad person, doesn't want to listen to anything. So, what's going on? Why nobody's perfect? Why we don't have a perfect life? Nilüfer, can you put the air conditioning, please? Why by design? Last class we learned why by design we had 9th of Av, or why by design we have to say prayer. Why by design our life is not perfect? Everybody has some kind of a challenge, either healing, success, money, relationship. By some design, we all have this lack. In Hebrew they call it chisaron. So in our eyes is misfortunate, in our eyes is bad luck, in our eyes it's a flaw. By design we have to have this lack, in Hebrew chisaron. Because without lack there is no movement. We have to understand this law of the universe. Without lack there is no movement. If you wake up in the morning, if you don't need money, you don't need healing, you don't need anything, you won't want to leave the house. You won't even come out of the bed. So the lack makes us move. I want a better life, so I have to wake up and go make money. Baruch Hashem, we all have healings, but we don't know how long it's going to last. So we know that we might going to have a lack of healing in the future. So we are careful with our diet. We go exercise. We know that it can hurt us in the future. So we try to fulfill that lack. You're looking for a soulmate, so that's a lack. But it makes us move, makes us to meet people. Move out of yourself, come out of yourself. So by design, there must be a lack. With no lack, there is no movement. If we didn't have a lack, we wouldn't be in this class. And where does it show? It's a beautiful lesson from 10 Sefirot. How the light, I know there are some new students, some older students, we know every Sephirah has its own character, has its own energy. In Hebrew they call it Eichut, has its own quality. So when the light comes down from above, from Ein Sof, it starts with Keter, then goes through Chokhmah, then goes through Bina, all the way to Malchut. When the light comes down, it's carry the energy of the Sephirah to the next level. So the Chokhmah receives the quality of Keter. The Bina receives the quality of Chokhmah. Chesed receives the quality of Bina. Gevurah receives the quality of Chesed. And Tiferet receives the quality of Gevurah. Tiferet is Yaakov, is Bnei Israel, it's us. We are the Tiferet, we have to shine. The Tiferet in Hebrew is such a beautiful word. It's the most beautiful, sweet word in Hebrew is Tiferet. I Google it and it says so many good things. Glory, beautiful, praising, magnificent. So, as Israel, we have to be the Tiferet. We have to, and it's the center of the 10 Sefirot. We have to shine. We have to bring light to the whole world. We have to have this beauty. We have to be this balance. We have to be this. We have to be magnificent. So the lesson we learn, where the Tiferet gets the light from. We get the light from Gevurah, right? Are we together? Yeah, when we're going down, the Tiferet receive the light from Gevurah. How come the most beautiful Sephirah, the most powerful, gorgeous, healthy, beauty, nice Sephirah, receive its light from Gevurah? Gevurah is judgment. I was studying the Talmud and Sefirot this week. Rabbi Ashlach says, Dinim Kashim, the worst judgments coming out of Gevurah. Gevurot Kashod, worst judgment, worst dinim coming out of the Gevurah. So, how such a beautiful thing receive its light from such a harsh thing? Why this design? So we talked about it. This system is all about love, is all about kindness, rachamim, mercy. But without judgment, we won't move. The system, our Father wants us to work hard, wants us to change ourselves, elevate ourselves, change the consciousness to better, transform ourselves to better people. But with all love, without it won't happen. It's going to only happen through judgment. Dinim kashim. We are so lucky that Baruch Hashem, it's not that kashe, because we are in the right path, that we constantly sweetening those judgments. That's the secret of Rosh Hashanah too. That Rosh Hashanah, we are doing all this, we have these 6 weeks to change ourselves, to sweeten the judgment. Hopefully we're going to do so good, it's going to be removed from our life, this judgment. So, yeah, the Tiferet receives its light from Gevurah. There is a lack in our life, there is a judgment, there is a obstacle. It's coming from the love and mercy of the Creator, because through that judgment, through that difficulty, you're going to find the blessings. You're going to find your purpose. You're going to reach your maximum potential. But unfortunately, because we are not trained, we just fall for our eyes. We look at it as a misfortune. We look at it as a bad luck. But don't forget, within the light we receive in Gevurah, there is also Chesed, and there is also Chokhmah, Bina, and Keter. So through that Chokhmah, through that wisdom that's coming down with the Gevurah, it's hidden within the Gevurah, we can overcome that judgment, we can overcome that obstacle. What else is going to make us hear better? Stubbornness is the worst.
میتونم سوال کنم پس در نفس این بشر این همیشه جاجمنته، یعنی وقتی نگاه کنید زیر مجموعه فاندامنتال گیتیفورا وقتی از گیفورا نیاز شما میگین جاجمنته.
I'm going to answer it's not the fundamental. We said the light is also including Chokhmah, Bina, and Chesed, but it's concealed, is hidden within the Gevurah, within the judgment. It's concealed. So we're going to reach our potential by revealing the light within that judgment. To a non-trained person, or somebody that doesn't have this Chokhmah, wisdom, is going to look at it only as a judgment. But within it, there is a tremendous amount of light, Chokhmah, blessing. We just have to learn how to unveil it. Stubbornness. Stubbornness is huge, again, ego. When I'm stubborn about my ideas, when I'm stubborn about my understanding, when I'm stubborn about the way I see things, my pipes of hearing are completely blocked. Completely blocked. So the stubbornness that we constantly want to be right over kind, like the psychologist says, we have to be kind over right. Even if we're hearing something that is not absolutely true, it's not correct, we just want to hear. We're just going to let the stubbornness, we're going to depress the ego. Let the information comes in. You already know what you know. Give a chance to yourself to learn something from other people. If you're stubborn and you want to make a point, then you won't hear. There is another aspect of hearing, is to let go of an idea. To let go of an idea. I have an idea for the past 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. I have an idea that my way is the right way. I learned something 4 years ago. I am carrying it from my parents, or I'm bringing it from the old country. Not necessarily that idea is applied to your life today. So let go of being stubborn about certain ideas. You know, be open, let go of some of those old-fashioned ideas, be open to receive and hear these life-giving messages. And one of the points about hearing is, last week we learned about love. By the way, I posted a section from a Zohar about love that we studied last week online. Wow, I received so many comments. It says that the love is the strongest prayer, the strongest worship you can imagine. Love surpasses all those prayers, all those worships, any language, any way of meditation. If you truly love somebody, you love them with your heart, you have tears for them, you put yourself in their position, you feel their pain, that's the strongest prayer ever. So true love, honestly, loving your friends, loving life, loving everything and everybody, you start hearing better. By the way, we are talking about spiritual hearing, not necessarily what I hear. Spiritual hearing is also gut feelings, also visions, also dreams I'm going to have, also directions, that I hear a voice in my head. So when I'm talking about hearing, not necessarily what goes through our ear, but gut feelings, dreams, visions, a voice in our head, a direction, a guidance that coming from above. So through love, we can receive so much messages. The best messages you receive through people that love you. So if there is love between you and other people, it helps you to hear better. It helps you to listen better. In general, when you love everything in your life, then you hear better. The life gonna love you and send you better messages. I was listening to Master Nader class on Tuesday, and was talking about love, and he asked this amazing question. Do you love yourself? You know, how do I know if I love myself? How do I know if, God forbid, I hate myself? And by the way, we always talk about Arya Kadosh, our master and teacher in Tzfat. When you go visit him, his graveside, it's amazing how beautiful it's written. He says, thank you very much for coming here, but do me a favor, I don't want anything from you. All I want you is, v'ahavta l'recha kamocha. Love your neighbor as yourself. That's the message of Ari. And we know that they asked Rabbi Akiva, give us the whole Torah in one sentence. He says, love your neighbor as yourself. So Ari says, you know, thank you for coming here, but do yourself a favor. Practice this in your life. You love your neighbor as yourself. And then Nadarjun says, you know, how can you love somebody else if you don't have love within you, right? It's an amazing question. How you want to do this amazing act that our forefathers, our master asking us to do if we don't love ourselves? So in order to practice that sentence, first we have to love ourselves. And when I was listening to his class and I was thinking, you know, how do I know if I love myself? I got to this conclusion. I look at my day. Everything good I done, I love about myself. Everything bad and negative I done, I not necessarily love myself anymore. If you did 10 acts of goodness, sharing, caring, going out of your comfort, calling, volunteering, you know, respecting, then in the end of the day, you look at yourself, wow, you know, I did so many good things. So I love that part of me. But then there is some people I don't necessarily like in my life. Maybe I hang up the phone on them. Maybe, I don't know, I hurt somebody. Maybe I let myself hate them for a few minutes. Maybe I got angry of somebody. Maybe I pass on an opportunity to do good. Then I look back, I said, wow, I don't necessarily love that aspect of me. So I think one way of looking at if I love myself in order to love others is how much good I do and how much not necessarily good I do during the day. If I can transform myself, if I can elevate myself to the point that I do good all day, not only the good that I think is good, the good that is coming to us from the Torah and the Zohar, the good that the universe is teaching us. Not necessarily everything I choose to do is good for other people. So I want to have love in my life, I want to love myself, I want to love others. So I have to love what I do. I know maybe we are 50-50, maybe we are 60-40, but we have to push it, the goodness within us to the maximum, so I love everything about myself. There is another section in the Zohar I want to share with you guys. This section of the Zohar, the Ekev, is all about blessings and appreciating and loving. And there is one section about the Shabbat that it's my favorite part. One of the process of us to hearing better, to become a better person, to transform ourselves, is to experience Shabbat. We talked about it in the past classes. The secret of Shabbat is to let go of what I'm doing. In a different language, in the Kabbalah language, they use the word Eved, slave. He says, either we want it or not, we are slave. We can either be slave to darkness, or unlike Moshe, to be the slave to the Creator. You know, after all the goodness that Moshe did in the Torah for us, God called him my slave, Eved. I know in English it sounds harsh, but in Hebrew it's actually a good word. Eved means avodah. I'm working on myself. I'm working on changing myself to a better person. So, yeah, in a way we are slave to the system. We're slave to our jobs, we're slave to the rules of the government, we have to pay taxes, we're slave, to the TV, to the food, that during the week it's okay. We don't have a choice. But one of the gifts of Shabbat is that we say, no more slave. I don't want to be slave to the outside world. I want to be the slave to the Torah and the Creator and to spirituality. I say no to my phone, I say no to TV, I say no to my job, I say no to my bills. I'm not a slave of the other side. On Shabbat, I choose to be slave of the Creator. But again, not the word slave, Eved. I want to work on myself to get close to the Creator. So, I choose to read this section about Shabbat, and it's talking about how awesome, how good the Shabbat is. And if we don't celebrate that, we are giving up to the other side. And there is a couple of good points in it. Let's read it, and then I'm going to explain more. We are in book number 22, page 146, section 33. Don't cross your hands, don't cross your legs. Let this awesome energy from the Aramaic, holy language of the Zohar penetrate your body. And we're going to read it with this kavanah. We're going to have a Shabbat, that we are not slave to anything. We choose to be free. We choose to enjoy and be happy. ולא עוד, אלא דאית רזה אחרה, כגוונה דצריך לקבלה גבירתה, בכמה נהורין דשארגין בשבת, ובכמה ענוגין ולבושין שפירין, וביתה מתוקנה בכמה מענה דתוקנה בהסבה יפה לכל אחד ואחד. בהאי חדווה ותיקונה, גרמין דאשתרת שפחה באישה בחשכה, ברעבון, בבחיה, בהפסד, בלבושין, אוכמין, כארמלתה דאי מלאה זו, חורבה זו. There is yet another secret meaning to it. One needs to welcome Shabbat as it is behoves one of the welcome a lady by lighting many lamps for Shabbat, by many pleasures, beautiful clothing, a house set with many adorned vessels and nicely set up comfortable chairs for everyone, for joy and preparation. Cause the evil handmaid, that is the klipa, to remain in the dark, in the hunger, in a weeping, in mourning, and in black dress. I'm going to repeat this color because I know you guys know these things about me. And in a black dress, like a widow. When the one is filled, the other is destroyed, because the klipa is filled only with the destruction of holiness. Simply holiness becomes full from the destruction of the klipa. It says, you heard the words, you know, it's not only for Shabbat, it's for 7 days of the week. It says holiness, goodness, and sadness cannot live together. It's impossible. The sadness comes in when there is no happiness. And happiness won't come in when there is a sadness. It's said very beautifully. It says, we are not into mourning, we are not into staying hungry, we are not into weeping, we are not into wearing black. As a fashion statement, it's okay, but not just regularly wearing this color. It says in the Zohar right here. So we cannot have this darkness and light at the same time. It doesn't go together. So when the Shabbat kicks in, we do the maximum. Like it says, welcome it, many lights, good food, beautiful clothing, have a guest, comfortable chairs. Because we choose not to be slave to our consciousness of the week. All the obstacles, all the challenges, all the anger and God forbid the hate we went through the week. We don't want to bring it to also Shabbat. We want to stop it. We want to stop it. I'm not slaving to it. I'm going to let go of this consciousness. I want to start a new consciousness. Consciousness of happiness, healthy, goodness. That was the second section that we read tonight about Shabbat. There was another subject I want to talk to you about, guys, but I think we are reaching the 1 hour.
1 minute.
1 minute. So we have 1 minute left. This wonderful lady, she mentioned something with nefesh. You are so amazing. Thank you for being here for this question. As we know, our soul has 3 aspects: nefesh, ruach, and neshama. Nefesh is the physical world. Neshama is this chokhmah, this wisdom that we desperately need. Either we look at life with nefesh, what I see, what I hear, this is it, that's the 100% reality, or I add this wisdom to myself. I awaken, I ignite the neshama within me to be able to see better, to hear better. And with the chokhmah, with this wisdom, I can decode those gevurah, those judgments, and turn them into light, happiness, health, and healing. Thank you very much. Shabbat shalom. See you in Shabbat.